I've officially been unemployed for 3 years.
What? What?
And to the average person, it seems like a bummer. It seems like when somebody tells you they've been unemployed for 3 years, you want to console them into like, well, it's okay. You know, the job market is shit right now. There's nobody finding jobs. There are more unemployed people than there are jobs. And while that may be true, that's something that I choose not to focus on because in these past 3 years, I have grown so much into myself to the point where I wouldn't be able to accomplish what I've been able to do with a job. Because the route that I chose to take, or the perspective I chose to take, when it got to a point where you're flustered and you're frustrated and you don't know how your bills are going to get paid, you don't know what food you're going to eat, you don't know just anything about the unknown, that's the part where you need to surrender the most, especially being a projector in human design. If you want to commit to being a projector in human design, surrendering is going to be your strongest tool to learn how to access in its various forms because surrendering will not look the same each time. You're going to have to learn how to surrender, and when it's time to surrender is going to be key because when in that surrendering you'll learn different aspects of yourself, or you'll get the insights, you'll get the downloads, you'll get everything that you need to know in that moment of sheer frustration, and in those breakdown moments, in those late nights where nobody is around to talk to you. It's really just like, well, what are you going to do with what you have?
I'm trying to be cool, but goddamn.
Instead of viewing it as, damn, I ain't had a job in 3 years, it's more so viewing it as, wow, I've been giving the space to create. I've been blessed with the time and space to create for myself. And not many people are afforded that opportunity, nor do they view it that way. And you're given the opportunity to create and build something sustainable that's for yourself. If you've been flushed out of the job market or the quote unquote matrix, it's just take advantage of that because there was a reason for that. And not everybody is always meant to have a job. I think we get confused into putting people in these certain boxes, whereas human beings, we were just born to create. The reason why you're so depressed all the time is because you're consuming more than you're creating. Your body, your mind, your mental just naturally wants to create just to create. And when it's not given that opportunity, you get the most unhappy people. You get disgruntledness, you get frustration, you get like, damn, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And it's like, no, you can just do that now. And when I woke up the day of that the day of that 3 year anniversary, I had grief. I was sad, I was down, I was just like, really, I don't feel like nothing's moving, but really that was an insult to the growth that I have done for myself because it's like, if you had a job right now, would you even want a job right now? I've created a YouTube series, I've written books, I've written ebooks, I've recorded more content. I've just been being more creative in my own right and finding a different path to move forward because I refuse to be consumed by a society that really wasn't meant for me in the first place. What I've also observed in these 3 years in studying human design as well is that projectors have the hardest time surrendering. Projectors have the hardest time surrendering to the unknown because it's unfamiliar. And if you are a projector, it is extremely challenging for you to break out of the hustle and bustle of everyday life because projectors are going to need that quiet time. We're going to need that rest. We're going to need the moments of stillness to really surrender to our power. And it's just with projectors, because you're so driven and you're so hustle driven to always having a job, always having this, always having that, you've never even fathomed, what if I didn't have this? And fathom it in a sense of like, not what if I had to struggle type. It's just, who are you without all the accolades? Who are you without your job title? Who are you without the friends that you have right now? Who are you without the upbringing that you had that still instilled in you that you're still living by? So it's really up to you and decide what you're going to do with your life as a projector. You don't have to record content on YouTube. You don't have to create in the traditional sense of creating. It's just more so you figuring out what really works for you. And the only way you're going to figure it out is if you sit in stillness and surrender to the genuine moment. Ultimately, human design gave me a smarter way to navigate unemployment. It gave me a smarter way to navigate unemployment because it taught me how I'm meant to navigate through life anyway. So it wasn't about me putting in thousands of applications and sitting in interviews and doing application projects and going through the whole process of plummeting my self esteem and self worth within myself. It taught me and gave me a way to function naturally, to take my time, to really sit and create even a relationship with myself that I don't think I would have found without it per se. It just would have taken me longer to do so. Because when you're dissecting your human design body graph or your chart, you're getting into this rabbit hole about yourself, about how you're meant to function. And as I was learning about human design, it gave me so many validating experiences and notes throughout my life that I'm just meant to operate on a different wave, and that's okay because you just ride your wave, and things will naturally align and come to you. Because as projectors, also, in a sense, we're meant to be taken care of, and it's not to be shamed about or have any guilt about, because the exchange that you're giving is your energy, is your wisdom, is your knowledge. So people are benefiting you and benefiting from you, and you are also receiving things from them to be taken care of. And I genuinely appreciate people in my life that I would have not gotten this far without. But I also know that I show up for them in a way that supports them to the point where they already know, like, once Nia good, she's going to be good. And she's going to, I don't want to say like repay, but I am going to pour that energy back because I am just that thankful. And
I'm a lovable person and I'm on my shit.
when you learn about human design, and as you're learning about it, if you choose to get into it, it's just understanding and being open and gentle with yourself as well. Navigating unemployment is not an easy journey. It's a very challenging journey. It's a very challenging journey on your mental and emotional health.
Bruh.
And human design gave me essentially like a permission slip. So I'm now giving it to you to just discover how you're supposed to navigate and figuring out all the kinks and just trusting that it's going to work out. Another way that I did this was to identify who I wanted to become, because who are you without the job? Who are you just by yourself? And that's important for you to discover on your own time, without outside influences, without the outside validation, because you need to validate yourself first. So if I identified who I want to be, what she thinks like, what she acts like, and who she is, she doesn't even have a job. She doesn't even have a 9 to 5. Who am I right now? Of course, I'm grieving that version of me who did want that, that sense of security. But how I think about security has even changed because you allow yourself to shift these perspectives and have these mind expansion moments to the point where you're not worried about having that job. Yes, that job brings in income and it provides that sense of security, but is providing that sense of security that's in yourself first. So you have to learn what that means to have that within you first. And if that identity no longer serves you, it shouldn't be getting your energy any longer. So that's when I got up and I was upset about, it being 3 years, it's been such a long time. But at the same time, the person that I'm becoming, the person that I have spoken into and I want to embody, she's not worried about it being 3 years. She's more so focused on how have you grown in these 3 years? How can we become better? What do we need to put in place that is a sustainable process for you to build upon? And being given that opportunity and granted that grace is a blessing within itself. And it would be an insult to the universe and to God of me to not acknowledge that perspective, because you can mope and be upset about not having a job, but you can also be thankful for the space that you're in.